Hello everyone, this is Dan Gramza and welcome to Gramza Market Studies for Monday, September 21st. In the NASDAQ market, I was looking for a stronger close going into the weekend. That is not what we have. I figured that by the end of the U.S. session we'd see a bit of a rally. We're seeing downward pressure. Also, I mentioned to you that the structure here is bearish and that price action wins out here as sellers came into this market. Monday, I still look for downward pressure, but we're looking for that bouncy action towards the end of the day. In the currency market, we can see an equal and opposite here in the euro, so the dollar got stronger across the board against these currencies. And what are we looking for? I'm looking for a downward move. Now, if Monday and Tuesday are not down big, then that would imply a sideways move in the euro. But when it comes to interest rates, I meant to mention to you yesterday that this market did trade above this bullish level, and the difference between this bearish level and that bullish level, the magnitude change is $187.50. Over here in bonds, on Friday, they did trade above that bullish level, and the difference between the bearish and bullish level in that market is $1,031.25 per contract. And again, just to give you a reference of what that magnitude of change represents. Nothing telling us to be a seller of these bonds. I was looking for these to get weaker. We're not seeing that type of action. So we are looking for a follow through on Monday, but not a dramatic move in these markets. Even gold perked up a little bit more as we went into this weekend, and again, I don't look for strong follow through in this market. There are some very heavy challenges ahead for the gold market. But when it comes to copper, it did trade through its bearish level, and the difference between the bullish level here and the bearish level there is 3 cents or $750 per contract. That's the magnitude change that you would see there. And I'm looking for further weakness in that market. And I'm looking for further weakness in the crude oil market, especially with the dollar stronger. I'm looking for a down day on Monday. Big challenges ahead for that market. And when it comes to the, let me grab that, the grains, you can see right here that soybeans really came off a lot more than I expected actually, but we do see some downward pressure here. I'm looking for a rest day on Monday. I don't look for further action in a dramatic way for corn, but this downward pressure is still in play, although the bias for these grains is still for a move to the upside. Like we're seeing here in wheat, I don't look for a big move to the upside on Monday, but rather a contained type movement in that market. Well, that concludes today's market studies. Thank you for being with me. I look forward to being with you again, and as always, take care.